So first up, we'll make the brownie. If you don't want to listen to making the brownie and skip straight to the review, just skip in about 4 minutes and we'll get straight to the review of the whiskey. See you then. Welcome back, you whiskey loving larrikins. And today we have something special. Not only are we going to be reviewing the Bunnahabhain 12-year-old, but we're also going to be cooking with it. We are going to make the world's greatest, fudgiest, chocolatest whiskey brownies ever. And to complement that with a beautiful whiskey butterscotch sauce. And this is what we're going to need. First, we're going to need some good quality whiskey. A nice sherried sweet one I find works well with this. As for the other shit, just, I don't know, screenshot it. First we're going to melt the chocolate in a double boiler. Then once that's melted down a bit, we're going to throw in the butter and combine that butter and chocolate together till it's nice and velvety. And once that's all velvety and complete, we're going to put that to the side and let it rest. Now we're going to sieve all our dry ingredients into a mixing bowl. Get all those lumps out. We don't want any lumps in this stuff. Smash your 3 eggs into a bowl. Give them a good whisk. You want to whisk them nice bit of air and bung in a dash of vanilla. Then you want to pour in the whiskey. Then pour in the butter choc mix. Now this should all thicken up as you whisk this together. Now you want to fold in the dry ingredients. Don't overmix it. You want to bang it in a pan. Make sure it's no bigger than 20 by 20. If it is, your brownies are going to be dry as shit. Put it in the oven around about 150 to 160, depending how hot your oven is. You know your oven. So while that's cooking in the oven, let's make the whiskey butterscotch sauce. And for that, we're going to need some more whiskey. And once again, just take a screenshot for the butterscotch sauce. Bang in your butter. Slowly add in the sugar and dissolve it in the butter. Pour in the salt. Once that's all dissolved, you want to scrape in the cream. Fold that cream into the butterscotch. And we want to boil it. We want to gently boil it for about 4 minutes. Don't go too much or your butterscotch sauce is going to be too thick. Now to add the whiskey for that lovely flavour. Stir in. And once that's all in, then we can pour it into the serving jug. Voila! Cut your brownies up and serve a piece on the plate. Put a big dollop of double whipped cream on top. And then pour that beautiful butterscotch sauce all over that brownie. Look at that. And for grins and giggles, let's just grate a bit of chocolate on top and voila! And there you have it, Bunnahabhain brownie. If you like it, make sure to whack that like and subscribe button down below. Okay guys, so now we have our Bunnahabhain 12-year-old and we have our brownie ready to go. So Bunnahabhain 12-year-old, it's 46.3 ABV, no added colour, and non-chilled filtered. So it's got all the good stuff in it. It's aged in both sherry oak and bourbon oak barrels. And let's give it a go. So on the nose, straight away we get these big juicy raisins, dried fruits, a lot of vanilla again, honey, plums, and some cherry. So the nose is really nice and it's kind of what you would expect from a sherry aged whiskey or finished whiskey. Or partial anyway. Alright, so first gulp. It's a real punch in your face sherry. That's just a real slap in the face sherry hit with caramel and spice. Quite sweet when it first enters your mouth. Then on the finish, this is where it goes pear-shaped for me, this whiskey. The finish suddenly becomes quite bitter, like really bitter and dry. So it's a bitter, dry finish. Once you get over that bitterness, I get a few coffee notes or choc-coated coffee beans, a bit more bitterness, a bit of spice, and then we're back to bitter again. So for me, this whiskey really lets down on the finish. But luckily enough, we have our great Fudgy Brownie here. And with mixing a bit of this and the whiskey, that shit is a bomb.com. Wash it down with a bit more whiskey. I'll tell you what, mixing food with whiskey and cooking with food with whiskey can be really exciting, can make the whole process so much better. But going back to the review of the whiskey, so for a score, I'm going to give it, I hope I haven't got a choc brownie in my teeth, I'm going to give it 89 points for the nose, lovely little nose on. On the palate, I'm going to give it 85 points, mainly because I get that excellent, that lovely, bam, punch in your face sherry hit to start with. And then on the finish, that's my letdown for this whiskey. I'm going to give it 82 points. So that gives a grand total of 85 points. But more importantly than that, on the was it worth it score. So this bottle we can quite easily pick up at £40 or 120 Australian dollars. You know, I was expecting a bit more. A lot of people talk this whiskey up a lot. So it's really hard for me, and I ummed and ahed whether to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And I came to the conclusion that I couldn't give it either. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, which is neither a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's neutral. It's an interesting whiskey to have a taste. It's got some interesting things, but it's really lacking in the finish for me, but does pair really well with this chocolate brownie. So have a crack at making the chocolate brownie, and if you don't have Bunnahabhain to put in it, that's alright, but don't take your dad's or mum's best whiskey because you might get in trouble. Cheers. Oh my god, this is so very good. Ah.